If you're waking up in the middle of the night and you are wide awake, I've got 5 more strategies that will help you go back to sleep. Hey everyone, I'm Dr. Michael Breus, the sleep doctor. One of the biggest reasons people have a hard time falling back to sleep is not really physical, it's mental. If you're like me, when you wake up in the middle of the night and you're struggling to fall back asleep, usually it's because your mind is racing. You might be thinking about something stressing you out. Maybe you're stuck thinking through a problem you're trying to solve, or maybe you are reliving certain life events that have strong emotional components. All of these thoughts can raise your heart rate, and that's what makes it harder to fall back asleep. What you want to try to do is occupy your mind with something else, something that will help lower your heart rate. But we want to focus your mind on something that is both engaging enough to help distract you from your thoughts, but is not so interesting, it's going to perk your brain up. If you try one of these strategies and it's not helping you fall asleep, that's okay. Don't worry, just move on to trying the next one. Not every one of these strategies works for every person. What is important is having a bunch of tools in the toolbox so you can find the right one for you. Finally, if you have any techniques that have worked for you, please share them within the comments below. I would love to know what's working for different people. All right, this first technique is becoming more popular on social media, and I could not be happier about that because it really works well. It's called cognitive shuffling. Start by picking a word, any word that pops into your head. One of my viewers suggested the word tropical, so we'll stick with that. Now take the first letter of that word, in this case T, and think of every word you can that starts with that letter. Turtle, toaster, trust, think, so on and so forth. When you have thought through every word for that letter, go on to the next letter of your original word. In this case, R from tropical. And you guessed it, think of every word you can that starts with that letter. River, run, rabbit. Repeat this process with each letter of that original word. And most likely, you will get a few of the letters into your word and be dozing off. To make it even more impactful, try a round of box breathing or 4-7-8 breathing in between each letter. If you're not a word person, more of a visual person, I've got a great technique that's worked for lots of my patients. This one is commonly called the house tour method. So how do we do it? Start by picturing a house, maybe a relatively big house, but most importantly, it's a house you've probably never been to. Now picture yourself walking up to the front door, opening it, and stepping inside. Visualize yourself walking through the house, going through each and every room, going up the stairs, going down the stairs, walk room to room to room. Observe what's on the walls. Are there pictures, paintings, art? Open cabinets, open drawers, even open the fridge. If you feel yourself losing focus, start to ask yourself, what does this room smell like? Bring your other senses into it. For example, you can listen to the sounds of the floorboards creaking under your feet. Again, the goal is to immerse your mind. If you struggle with visualizing a space you've never been to, you can also try this with a house that's familiar from your past where you have positive associations. Maybe it's your childhood home, maybe it's your grandma's house. I think it works best when it's a new house because it forces your brain to imagine something new. But if that's difficult for you, a familiar house can also work well because the nostalgia can also be very relaxing for people. Another variation of this technique, or a different flavor of it, is to visualize yourself cooking a new recipe. Imagine getting out the cookbook, getting out your ingredients, your knives, your spoons, pots and pans. Then imagine chopping the vegetables, maybe simmering things on the stove, but really focus on each step in that process and visualizing what it looks like, and again, try to be as specific as possible. Before we jump into the next technique, if you enjoy this kind of sleep content, please give this video a like and go subscribe to the channel below. Doing so really helps with the YouTube algorithm, and your support allows me to keep making this kind of sleep content for you in the future. So do me a huge favor and go do that right now. What if you're struggling in the middle of the night with reliving past events? This can be a common problem for a lot of people, especially older people, because we've lived longer, so we have more life experiences that can keep us up at night. If that is your struggle, I've got a great technique. I call it the remember everything you did today technique. Now, this one sounds easy, but it can be a lot more challenging than you might imagine. Start by asking yourself, what is the first thing that you can remember from today? And I don't mean going to work or eating breakfast. Literally, when you woke up, what was the first thing that you can remember? Was it turning off the alarm? Was it opening the blinds? Was it just opening your eyes and seeing the morning sunlight? Maybe you woke up and spent a few moments in bed and your mind was kind of wandering. Can you remember all of those things that your wandering mind was thinking about? After that, what is the next thing you can remember? Was it getting out of bed? Which foot hit the floor first? What did you do next? Stand up, stretch, or put on a bathrobe? Work your way through your day, remembering everything that you can, even your thoughts, especially your daydreams. Again, a familiar pattern you will notice with these techniques is to be as specific as possible. Every detail, everything you can remember when you brushed your teeth in the morning. How much toothpaste was in the tube? Was it all squeezed out? Leave no stone unturned. This next one might sound a little crazy, like it totally shouldn't work, but for some people I know it really does the trick. And that is, in order to fall back asleep, you try to stay awake. It's called paradoxical intention. I think the reason that this one can really work for certain people is because they get performance anxiety before sleep. Think about it. You wake up in the middle of the night, you can't fall back to sleep, and what happens? You get stressed out about it and you keep telling yourself, sleep, sleep, sleep. The fact of the matter is, you can't force yourself to sleep. Sleep is an involuntary action, and if you try to control it, you can end up interfering with it. As I often say, sleep is a lot like love. The less you look for it, the more it shows up. When you wake up in the middle of the night, don't let yourself feel too frustrated that you cannot fall right back to sleep. Instead, by trying to stay awake, you can remove that added stress, that added performance anxiety, and you can get your heart rate down and actually fall asleep. Now again, this technique does not work for everyone. There are a couple of ways it can go wrong. First, do not use this as an excuse to get your phone out because the blue light from that will make it hard for you to fall back asleep. Also, avoid getting out of bed and try not to look at the clock. I think looking at the clock can just end up leading to more anxiety about not getting enough sleep, which is not what you want. Instead, simply lie in bed, keep your eyes open and tell yourself, I'll just stay awake a little longer. Keep doing that and eventually your heart rate will lower, your eyes will get heavy, and you'll drift off to sleep. Now, despite what I just said, this last one, you might need to use your phone. But that's okay because this last technique can be so helpful. The technique is called guided imagery. Essentially, it's a form of meditation where you focus on positive mental images or scenes. By doing this, you can activate your body's parasympathetic nervous system, which can help you calm down. Now, you can do this one on your own, but I find that sometimes it helps to follow a pre-recorded guided imagery podcast or video. But the good news is there are tons of great guided imagery sleep meditations on YouTube, all of them for free. And I've created a playlist of them that you can see on my channel's homepage. If you don't hate the sound of my voice too much, I've created my own guided imagery video that you can listen to as well. Click the link in the description or on this little white dot over my shoulder. And so all you do is press play on the video, set your phone down, and then just listen to the video. You don't have to watch it, just listen to it. And in the video, a gentle voice will slowly walk you through a series of images you can picture in your mind, which will help you feel more relaxed and better able to drift off to sleep. If you are trying these techniques out and nothing is working, it is worth considering that what is keeping you up at night may actually be something you are doing during the day. For example, caffeine has a half-life of 6 to 8 hours, which means if you drink too much during the day, there can still be a ton in your system in the middle of the night, even if you don't feel the effects of it. Fortunately, I have an entire video on how your habits during the day may be keeping you up at night, so check that one out right here. And if you have any techniques you've used to fall back asleep, please share them with us in the comments below. This is Dr. Michael Breus, the Sleep Doctor, wishing you sweet dreams.